For me, it's a different thing. So it's okay. I was so desperate for this thing of marriage and relationship that we compromise
and we lose ourselves in those relationships and marriages. You know, because I identify and woman. You know, that's why you go know who you are first, because utakota understand better. Like Mararukunga TV, as she said, it serves no purpose. Yakuri ubaga that relationship.
It is better to find yourself in a failed relationship than to find yourself in a failed marriage.
Yes,
you can have lots of failed relationships, is fine, but a failed marriage, being divorced, it cuts so deep. It's a very painful thing, because no one gets into the marriage with the view that tomorrow I want to divorce. Nobody. They all get in the marriage because until death do us part. And then somehow in between death doesn't do you part, is that divorce does. Adultery do you part.
Yeah, and you need to heal from that.
You need to heal. You need to heal. And the healing process here, divorcing, undermine. Undermine so much. I always say, in a divorce process, there are two characters. There is the one that we call the walk away. There is the one that we call the left behind.
It also depends on which side you are.
And the walk away, that person has emotionally divorced long time ago. Long, by the time I got the legal side, that's why I go. Well, I divorce then the left behind is the one who believes now we are just legalizing this thing. There are two characters in a divorce. Kuna the walk away, kuna the left behind. And the left behind one, utaringeta kula kusave a marriage, even when the other one is filed, but a delay akatsongo, baby love the walk away spouse. You don't understand. It's because they're left behind. They're still clinging to the possibility that this thing is going to work. And then in actual fact, I'm at the same time, same level. And the worst thing that you can do as they walk away to the left behind is to make a promise that is not there. Because it's reality. So I baby, no baby. It's reality. One rand. Because they're not lying. It's like this thing, we can still save it. When it's something that particular person. And they exhibit themselves in different characters. But then the most difficult and the dangerous aspect of the whole thing is go through the 5 stages, the healing process. The queen, it's a process. The left behind, the denial phase, they stay a lot of time there. That denial. They can't let go. They can't let go. The walk away probably denial. He gained it 3 years ago. Through the emotional divorce process until they made up their mind. Okay, there's no marriage here. By the time I got a legal route, denial. They are actually going forward. The next phase, their anger. It's way too dangerous for the left behind. In the sense, realize in actual fact this is happening. They become so vindictive, they become so aggressive, all the anger comes out. So you need to be very careful.
So it's easy for the one who left.
The walk away. So you are called walk away because emotionally you have detached. You may still be married, but emotionally there is no marriage. So when you go through divorce, there are emotions that we go through. We generally summarize them into 5 stages. So the first stage is denial, that we've spoken about, which is difficult for. It's mainly the stage where the left behind spouse dwells a lot in. Because the walk-away spouse, emotionally they've detached long time ago. The second stage is anger. So even the walk-away spouse does go through the anger process. In which sense? Because it's the time where you start to look back and start to blame yourself. You know, why I did this, why did I allow that, this stupid person, and all of those things. You know, you need to allow yourself to feel those things. For the left behind spouse, it becomes more difficult because sometimes their anger can be shown in a physical level. They can become vindictive, they can become violent, they start to blame you, and so forth. So what we recommend is, if you are the spouse who is experiencing this thing, don't take those things lightly. That's where we do find people getting killed during that time. And if you are the left behind, try to find help. Try to find a counselor or a therapist or priest to talk to help you contain, because you may find yourself doing more damage you know, than what is anticipated. Then the third stage is what we call bargaining. So in the bargaining space, you start to sink in, the reality starting to sink in, and that's where the what-if scenarios, especially for the left-behind spouse, you know, if maybe I did not cheat, maybe this would have happened. If I bought flowers, maybe this, maybe if I, you know, so you start to bargain a little bit. Those who believe, you know, believe in God or whatever, that's where they start to make a deal with God. You know, if you can change your heart, God, I swear I'm going to give you my tithe, 10%, or I will go to church, I will pray. They start to bargain in that phase. Then the fourth space is depression. And then there is where you're dealing with the emotions now. In the anger stage, they are outside. You start to, you know, they exhibit them outside. But in that phase of depression, it's inward. You find people now isolating. If they used to have this couple sessions where they go, they're friends who maybe they used to be a couple kind of a thing, they withdraw. They no longer don't want to do that anymore. They don't want to go to parties and all of those things. If you battle to get out of that as well, please find help. Find help, because we do find people committing suicide through depression. The final stage is acceptance. And in the acceptance is when you make peace with, you know what, it is what it is. Let me start to look forward. Let me accept the situation. So in a nutshell, those are the 5 stages. Some people make them longer, but it's easier if you summarize them into 5 stages.
So how long can that take you?
It depends. It depends from one person to the next person. It depends where you're at, what are your coping mechanisms. I would highly advise that find people that are reliable. And I cannot emphasize or overemphasize reliable, trustworthy. Some people are there because they you don't want people like that. You want people who are genuine, will listen to you, will contain your feeling. And you don't want people who will tell you what you want to hear. They need to tell you what you need to hear. They must tell you the hard truth in a very subtle manner. Because there you can start making wrong decisions, and that's why sometimes people start dating and doing all these funny things, because they don't want to deal with the emotions. So I don't want to deal with the emotions, or I'm depressed. Now I go out, I sleep with whoever I date.
You must close this gate before you open the next one.
So you need to for some people it's very quick, especially if you walk away. You have dealt with this thing long time ago. So by the time you go the legal route, and tomorrow we see you with someone else before. So the society won't understand. They'll say, this person just died. In actual fact, you divorced 3 years ago. You were just doing the paperwork now. And so that's why it depends from one person to one person. How you heal in the process of divorce is very, very important. Acknowledge your emotions. It is okay. If you feel like you want to cry, cry. If you want to get a punching bag and want to punch a bag, get a punching bag and punch. Don't deny yourself. If you're angry, if you feel like you want to verbalize in the bedroom, in the bathroom when you are alone and say, I hate this, say it. Because if you don't say it now, you are going to say it to your future spouse. When you see them, you're going to see that person. So acknowledge your feelings, deal with them. Make sure that you've got some hobbies that you enjoy. Keep yourself physically fit. We are not saying exercise to lose weight. Physically fit, because emotions and your physical health, they go together. They go hand in hand. Make sure that you are physically fit. If you like reading, read. Find some time doing things that you like. If you like meditating, meditate. You know, if you want me time, have me time. So take care of yourself. It can actually be a beautiful regeneration phase of rediscovering who you are. If you actually utilize it effectively. Find a support system, people that you talk to, people that you trust. If you feel you are dwelling much in emotions and you feel that it's now you are becoming a danger to yourself, meaning you have suicidal thoughts, try to find a professional person to help you. Or you are having thoughts of, now I want to kill that person. Sometimes it does cross your mind, but you're not going to act on them. But if you start now really acting on them, try to find out. Now you want to act and eventually, if you allow yourself to go through the process, you do accept it.
And heal.
You do accept it and heal and be able to move forward. But don't shortchange yourself when you go through the healing process.
So in other words, divorce is so painful. It's very painful, and you find people bending backwards in order to save their marriages.
Yes.
What's your take on that, Sis Minene?
Yes, leswi Lydia va nga swi vula i ntiyiso. Va vulavule timhaka ta to walk away. And truly, sometimes don't undermine the walk away. That's dangerous. So I just want to come to bending over backward in order to save your marriage. Go fika ka situation leyi ka marriage. Mingena loko mingena. Both of you have sacrificed. That is the first thing. And then sacrifice, it was for both parties, husband and wife, so that you can get happiness in your marriage. You have compromised yourself. Your uniqueness, your happiness to be with this person. Even your family. That is a compromise. That is a compromise that you have made. And then you are so excited. You really puna that maturity. And then you are looking forward. Within 2 years, that marriage, things changes. Remember, the first 5 years, you expect honeymoon stage. And if one spouse drifts apart, meaning the load is being carried by one person. And if you look at society, who will carry that load is us women. Because ningenene not the expectations. Ningenene na hope. Babu releases Lydia. Lokon ngena katina anga genedi te makata kontakela nta homa mnduku. I vowed. I said, up till death do us part. In sickness and in health. Ansithamani baza so udrifte apart. So unikomba yini.
So would you say that in the most cases, men are the ones who walk away, or am I just...
Most of the time, I'll come to that. A small of my personal experience. Ni randa ngofu te makata kubiyela ka society. Ni ti randa ngofu. Lapta kuniketa a situation whereby you are married to a person of a different culture of yours. Usungule ukwenda, you have compromised yourself. Udonda culture yena, udonda the values taye. And then so uhanya in according to his values, so that you can fit in his society. You have compromised yourself. You have compromised yourself for doing that in that marriage. So loko asungula mitolobele kuba meba merishime. Se wasamala manje, the person is drifting apart. And you don't want to talk about it. And then loko usungula ungithamisa hansi, you know what? The house is empty. What I was speaking in polite way. The way ungranda koyona. You know, I miss you. Unimisa yini kunokusiyana khadi. Anlabi khadi nilaba wena. I want you. The house is empty. The house is empty. Anibuli furniture. I need that intimacy. The warmth. Yeah, the warmth le unganayona. Your presence kuba umuva amahlweni kamina. It makes me complete about it. And now we are drifting apart. And then, because mina ningene nerna hope, nerna kuthemba, mina anishtuku loko angena abgadini, mina nakutiva ku andaba yini. Lwa anishtuku unidzele ku ulawa abgati lebyi kufika kwini. or sis I cannot read his mind unzele ku ri hi ta va hi ri swin'we ni n'wi tshembile ivi a sungula ku drifta apart loko ni heta I take the blame leyi nga va kona futhi ne le